Hello students, I'm Mrs. Nalini Xavier, Associate Professor, Department of English, Teresian College. Today's presentation is on a short story titled The Drover's Wife by Henry Lawson. This is from New Literatures in English, paper 9. The Drover's Wife was published in 1892, written by Henry Lawson, who was born on 17th June 1869 and died on 2nd September 1922. He was an Australian writer and poet. He is referred to as Australia's greatest short story writer. Most of his work focuses on Australian bush. This refers to the sparsely inhabited rural area. Lawson provides accurate descriptions of Australian life as it was during the late 18th century. The Drover's Wife is regarded as one of his finest short stories, often adapted for film and theatre. The story is set in the colonial days. As the title suggests, the story is about a woman living all alone with her 4 children in an isolated hut, as her husband, a drover, is away on his work. A drover is a person who moves livestock, like cattle or sheep, from one area to another in Australia, like an American cowboy. Now let's go to the plot. The main story is of a woman living all alone with her 4 children on an isolated hut, as her husband, a drover, is away most of the time. The main action revolves around a snake, a black 5 feet long one that got into the house. The woman, who is unnamed, stays up all night watching for the snake while her children sleep on the kitchen table so that they are safe. As she stays awake, she remembers all the things that have happened in her life. These are memories of incidents that she had dealt with while her husband was away, including a bushfire. Eventually, the snake is seen, an alligator, the family dog, attacks and kills it. The woman then throws it into the fire. As they watch it burn, the eldest boy, Tomi, declares that he would never go droving since he is aware of the effect that his father's absence has had on the family, and he promises not to leave his mother. The characters. The main character is the drover's wife, who is also referred to as the bushwoman. And the entire story is narrated from her perspective. She is not named like her 2 daughters, while her sons are Jackie, the youngest, and Tomi, the eldest, who is 11 years old. The woman is strong and independent and totally responsible for the care of 4 small children. It is revealed that the woman is used to being left alone and had to deal with many disasters on her own. Some of these are like the bushfire, the pneumonia. She has also had to fight a mad bull that had besieged the house for a day. The bushwoman has become self sufficient over the years, though she still clings on to bits of civilized life like reading the young lady's journal, dressing up to go for a walk with her children every Sunday. As a girl, she had dreamt of a comfortable life and she enjoyed being pampered by her husband in the early married days by going on buggy rides and fancy hotel stay. But after his finances were devastated due to a drought, both of them had to give up their comforts for a demanding, solitary existence. Since then, the wife has come to accept her fate and the harshness of life, which robbed her of her womanly nature. And this is symbolized by her wearing trousers, which amused and frightened her children. The story also describes her other threats like fires, floods, wild animals, the lusty men who disturb her peace at home. The reader gets to understand how the many challenges had forced this woman to become both physically and emotionally tough to ensure the survival of her family. Perhaps the reason she remains unnamed in the story is that she symbolizes a generation who helped establish the foundations of white settlement in the Australian continent. Tomi is the eldest son. He exhibits a great deal of bravery. When the snake first appears, he grabs a stick and, despite his mother's protests, goes after the snake. In his father's absence, Tommy seems to be trying to fulfill the role of the man of the house. However, at the end of the story, when the snake is killed, he embraces his mother and tells her he will never go droving like his father. He hopes to earn a living without leaving his family and perhaps represent a better future for the next generation. And he will have an easier time surviving in the bush owing to the foundation laid by his parents. Alligator is the name of the family dog. The family lives about 19 miles away from a shanty on the main road. The family dog is very precious to the family's survival, and they cannot afford to lose him. This reflects, in a broader sense, the humankind's reliance on the natural world, even when it tries to dominate over it. The dog is domesticated and protects his owners. This suggests humanity's power to control nature. The drover is absent throughout the story, but he is picturized through the wife's memories. And according to her, he is a good enough husband, but rather careless. Had he the means, he would have made a home for her in the city. King Jimmy is the name of an Aborigine man whose wife, named Black Mary, assists the drover's wife during childbirth. He is helpful and cheerful, and the darkness of his skin is emphasized to establish the difference and subordination to the drover's wife. Another Aboriginal character in the story is the stray black fellow who the drover's wife asked to build a wood pile, but he did not do a complete job and cheated her. The depiction of Aboriginal people in this story, with reference to the historical context, gives us an insight into the colonial and racist attitudes that existed in Australia and traces of which still exist today. Here are some themes which are predominant in this short story and a number of symbols that we come across. The themes are conflict between mankind and nature, nature of gender roles, colonialism, and racism. The symbols, the major one being the snake, the hollow wood pile, the young lady's journal. These themes and symbols will be presented by me in a separate talk. A few questions based on this short story are given here. First question, give an account of the hard life of the drover's wife. Second, how does Lawson depict the bush? Number 3, discuss the character of the drover's wife. Number 4, describe the shack in which the drover's family lives. References are given here for your further reference and information. So kindly follow them up. Thank you.